Hey guys, King of Charmanders aka Gary here. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And this video is to showcase one of the craziest ideas I've ever had. I've had crazier. Actually, no, this is pretty dang crazy. But you know, I've had crazier. This showcases Articuno and freaking Master League. If you want to see insane, not it's a pretty good mod for Master League. It's not the best. Obviously, it's nothing compared to some of the top picks out there. You know, like Giant Steel, Hunk of Junk Metal Dragon, the Lugnut of Exploit Cheaters. Well, it's not really. It's pretty much the Lugnut of Exploit Cheaters because it's called Melmetal, and the Titanical Ground Dinosaur and the Giant Free Willy Will of Destruction, which is called Kyogre, or any of those, the Flying Kiss of Death. You also have, what else is very prominent in Master League? Oh, you also have Mewtwo, which I popularized. I popularized the build for it, and it's now everyone just realizes that. Or me and a handful of people realized it was really good. Because some people like me were playing Mewtwo. I just built the insane Blast of the Shields play. But yeah, that's what you see, and Articuno actually beats a lot of them in the lead. Or not really beats a lot of them. It does beat a lot of them, but for some of them you have to play a sort of strat. And I will tell you about that strat in this video. This is a very fun team. Now, as a disclaimer, this is a very expensive team. Use this team at your own risk. Do not use this if you want to climb. If you're trying to make rank 10, do not use this team. Use something else. This team can be played and you can 5-0 and win consistently with it if you have a very high level of player skill and if you have the resources to do it. Otherwise, it's nothing compared to some other builds right there, such as Dialga, Groudon, Kyogre, or Double Steel with Groudon, or something, one of the really big, basic, big meta strats. There's nothing compared to that. This is I'm spicy, and if I play really well, I can kill you. That's basically what it is. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, this is a 5-0 with the mascot of Team Mischief, the Bird of Ice, the Queen Bird or King Bird of the North, Articuno. And I'm about to show you just why Articuno is absolutely amazing in Master League if you want to play it and if you play it right. Alright, so here's the quick analysis, peepbook.com. Again, if you consider to donate, please go on the main screen and then donate on contribute and you will get it. So, if you do want to play this team, here is the squad. You have Articuno, Mewtwo, Groudon, and those are its movesets. You have Articuno in the lead, Mewtwo as your safe switch, and Groudon as your closer. For Articuno, you have Icy, Ice Shard, Icy Wind, Ancient Power. You can run Hurricane, but I don't recommend it. You have to Elite TM unless you have a really good Hurricane Articuno that's already perfect and fully powered up. I would run Hurricane instead, but there are very few scenarios where you will actually get to a Hurricane. Mewtwo has Psycho Cut, Side Strike, Focus Blast. That's the moveset you run, Focus Blast, because that's what gives you the exit, which is one of the weaknesses to this team, which is Steals. Mewtwo and Groudon are your answers against Steel typings because Articuno loses to Melmetal and it loses to Dialga. Pretty much any Steel Articuno will lose to. And then Mewtwo also is your answer to Kyogres, which are very famous in the league as well. You want Mewtwo to Side Strike down Kyogres. And Groudon is your closer because there are many Steel types in the back. And Fire Punch, with Fire Punch, you have a bait move. Also, with Earthquake, you can also close against a Kyogre. That's your emergency exit move. What I mean by emergency exit is you need something that covers your team's weaknesses. In this case, I have two mons that cover my lead. With Groudon, if you hit an Earthquake on a Kyogre at a certain range, you can win, and I'm going to show you now. That's the squad. So the reason why we run Articuno in the lead is because Articuno beats or has a chance against most leads. As you see here for, not the Premier Cup, for Master League, Articuno ranks at number 38. You don't need a shadow. If you're running don't use a shadow. That's too much of an investment unless you have one maxed out. And yeah, don't do it. Just don't do it. As you see here, you beat a key number of Pokemon. Togekiss, Gira A, Groudon, Dragonite, Mewtwo. How many of these do you see in the lead in Season 2? A lot. Pretty dang often, especially Groudon. As you see here, the reason why we have Mewtwo and Groudon as our closer is because you do lose against these. Now, there are certain ways you can play against a Dialga or against against the Dialga or against Giratina Origins to where you can actually win the match. I will show you how for Dialga and just for Giratina. I'll show you these two right here. As for the rest of them, as you see here, these are very strong leads. You have a chance or can have play against many leads. Against Kyogre and Melmetal, though, you need to get out of here. You need to switch out to Mewtwo immediately and then go for the Focus Blast or the Side Strikes, depending on what scenario you're in. And the follow-up Shoutcast you see will explain all of that pretty clearly. So here's our contingency plan. Now, the reason now that you know why Articuno's in the lead, Mewtwo is just an excellent safe switch. As you see here, it's preferred that you have the Focus Blast, the Side Strike. Actually, it used to be Side Strike Shadow Ball. Now it's Side Strike Focus Blast. As far as your switch goes, the number one, as according to the meta, is now Groudon. Groudon serves as an excellent switch because what you beat Dialga, you beat Melmetal, Gira O, Gira Altered, and Mewtwo. If you manage to get into any of these. Unfortunately, if they switch Kyogre into you, you're dead. That's basically what it is. You're dead. If they switch Kyogre into you, you're dead. And then as our closer, as a great closer, as you see here, Groudon serves as an excellent closer. So does Mewtwo. So Mewtwo and Groudon serve as excellent closers for 8 and 9. As you see, Mewtwo as a closer takes out all of these. You beat Togekiss, you beat Dialga, you beat Melmetal, you beat a lot of what Articuno is weak against. Like I said, this team covers each other very, very well. If you are able to if you put it together and you have excellent gameplay, you're a really good player skill, and you have a lot of confidence, this team will work very well for you. Now, specific battles for Dialga and for... Here's Articuno. I'm going to run a sim real quick and show you about Articuno versus Dialga. So if you do go against Dialga and you put the 2-shield scenario, you can actually... So here you go, Articuno versus Dialga. So here's what you do. If you play this, you do lose the 2-shield, but watch how much energy you have left, or how much HP Dialga has left. Dialga has 9 HP. Now you lose Articuno, you also lose the shield. You also lose shield advantage. However, with that 9 HP, you can come in with Mewtwo and Psycho Cut down. As you see here, we pull in Mewtwo. You're left with 9 HP. With Mewtwo, with 1 Psycho Cut, you do 3 damage. So that gives you 3 Psycho Cuts. If you hold back an Ice Shard, you can get to enough Psycho Cuts. You can take out the Groudon. You can take out Dialga and farm down and have all this energy left over to throw out the next mon. That's a strategy I do. Yes, you will lose your lead advantage, but Mewtwo with energy is dangerous, and if you have Mewtwo with a Side Strike, it hurts a lot against anything. Even if it's resisted, Mewtwo with Side Strike will either do heavy damage or encourage your opponent to use their shields. That's why Mewtwo's are safe. Now, of course, Groudon, because it's Groudon. Articuno versus what was the second model I was talking about? So Articuno versus Giratina Origins. That's the second mon. Those are the 2 mons where technically you do lose it. However, there's plays you can make with it. As you see, Articuno will win the 2-shield. So you do win the 2-shield versus a Giratina O. Yes, you expend both shields. However, your opponent has to expend both shields as well. And if you expend a shield, you can actually tank a Shadow Ball and then shield the second one. As you see right here, once you resist down, you can tank 1 Shadow Ball. So you can make it to where you Icy win and you take the second Shadow Ball and then play the rest. But as you see there is play against Giratina O. Articuno, what you do here, you make sure you shield the first one, Icy Wind, and then you can tank the second one. That's the play. Because if you tank it at regular damage, it does heavy damage. It will do heavy damage at you. But that's how you play versus Gira O, and that's how you play versus Dialga in the leads. So as you see, there's a lot of play with Articuno if you understand the patterns and play it effectively. The Shoutcast I show you is going to give you a better visual of what I mean by the plays against Dialga. Against Giratina Origin, I gave you the play over here. Again, you win the 2-shield. Or you can expend 1 shield you can expend, block the first Shadow Ball, and then or yeah, block the first Shadow Ball or the Ominous Wind, and then take the second one. Just get one Icy Wind in. And now that's basically the entire team. Groudon is the closer because Groudon is just so powerful. As you see over here for your rankings, if you look up Groudon as a closer, Groudon is just the #1 overall, and there's reason why. It's the #1 lead, the #1 switch, and the #1 closer because you beat all of these. How often do you see Dialga and Melmetal in the back? A lot. And Mewtwo's too. If you see Kyogre, be very careful because Kyogre will run through Groudon. Like I said, there is a play against against Kyogre. If you run the simulation, so if you run this, if you run Groudon versus Kyogre, you're left with 23 HP. So assuming you have some damage on it, assuming there is some damage or you are up a shield, watch. You can actually win if you land an Earthquake and a Fire Punch. So there is play in certain scenarios versus a Kyogre. Not all is hope is lost. However, if Kyogre has a little bit of damage on it, like, yeah, if it has just a little bit, for example, you have just a little bit of damage, one Earthquake can take it out. The scenario changes completely. See, you win in the one shield if it has just a little bit of damage because you can land that Earthquake, the Fire Punch, and the Earthquake, and you still have 10 HP left. So there are scenarios where you can still win against a Kyogre in the closing matchup if you play very well. And that is your answer. This team is very strong if you play it right. However, with that being said, this is a disclaimer. This is totally up to you. This 5-0, you can win consistently, and it's a team that works if you know how it works. It's just really hard to play. If you're willing to try it out, you can go ahead. If you're not ranked 10 yet, I wouldn't recommend it. If you're trying to make rank 10, don't use this team. If you're already ranked 10 trying to have fun, use this team. If you just want to try something crazy and your goal isn't rank 10 at all, you're rank 9 and you don't want to go for rank 10, you just want to have fun, this is a fun team you can use. That is if you can have the resources. Articuno and Mewtwo are pretty old, and they do require like you to have played very heavily before and have them built before. And then Groudon with Fire Punch too. This team also requires you to use a lot of resources. If you don't have these mons, don't build it. Use something else. Use something that wins. This team I've played for a very long time, so that's why I can make up for that. I already have these mons built, or I have the resources to build these mons, and it won't hurt me. Once again, this team is a really fun team and can 5-0 if you play like a boss after you lose the lead. Alright, so here we have my 5-0 shoutcast with Articuno as a lead in Masters. As you see here, we got Mewtwo for the safe switch, and we got Groudon as a closer. Now, the reason I choose Mewtwo safe switch is because focus blasting through the shields is like the funnest thing on earth. Your opponent's looking on the other side, and their mouth is really open and they're drooling. They're like, oh my god, that actually just freaking happened. Yes, it did. You just got nuked. So that's why Mewtwo is my safe switch, and then Groudon as a closer because you need something that stands a chance against the double steal matchup. If Mewtwo fails, you need something that's really strong against Dialga or the Melmetal lurking in the back. Now here's what sucks. If you encounter Kyogre, you are dead. Well, not really dead, but you're like, oh my god, like, what do I do? Like, it's kind of GG's if you encounter Kyogre in the back. So Articuno and Mewtwo's job is to pretty much draw out Kyogre or draw out the hard counters of this team, which would be definitely Kyogre. Kyogre is one you can't stop, and Melmetal. Hopefully we're able to draw both, either one or both. So that's why we have this strategy that we employ here. As you see here, I send the Articuno in versus the Melmetal, and this is absolutely horrifying. Now this means that we're going to have to play really hard to try to get out of here. I switch into my Mewtwo right away, and what we're going to do here is we're going to do that play I told you to. Remember blasting through the shields? We are going to straight go for the big Spirit Bomb through the freaking shields right now. As you see, my opponent likes to switch out into Togekiss. So this is good for me because I have loaded energy, and I have no idea why my opponent switched out. But anyways, this works for me because I get 2 side strikes off because I have all this energy loaded up from that Melmetal engagement. I don't know why you would switch out to this. I guess they wanted to save everything. I guess they want to say their Melmetal, but here I get 3 Side Strikes off without expending any shields, which is a great scenario. And I pop both shields. So I'm in a really good position right now. I have 2 shields, I have Articuno still alive, and I have a Melmetal in the back which has no idea what I'm carrying. I let the Togekiss Ancient Power me because all I need to do is really just take out the Togekiss, and then I should be okay here. He's probably going to send in the Melmetal. He does send in the Melmetal, and now I'm going to send in my Groudon. This is great because without shields, you are dead. And remember when I talked about luring out the Dialga? Guess what? We just lured out the Dialga, baby. Come here, son. We lured out the Dialga. Now all we're going to do is hit all these bubbles, and we're going to nuke this poor Steel Dragon in one shot. GG's. The double domination with 2 shields, Ramberto style, and Ramberto would be proud. You'd be proud, Rami. I just 2-shielded my first match. As you saw there, that was epic AF. We got a huge shield advantage, which I don't know why. Mewtwo, if you match up Mewtwo versus Togekiss, you can pop all 3 shields. You can pop both shields, and you can do 1 more Side Strike at the expense of 1 shield. If you play the timing right. That's how good Mewtwo is. My opponent cost his match there by throwing in the Togekiss into my Mewtwo, which was kind of interesting. But as you saw there, I think what they were trying to do is just save both Dialga, just run me over basically with Dialga and Melmetal. So they thought my closer wouldn't be able to take out their Melmetal Dialga combination, which double skill is very strong. As you see here, we managed to epically annihilate them. Now, as I said in my analysis, the reason why Articuno is my lead is because it beats most leads in this pattern, like I stated. You beat both Giras. You can beat Gira O, even though it says on PvPoke it doesn't beat it. You can beat it if you play it right, minus a shield, which is unfortunate, but with Mewtwo, you could take back shield advantage, and Groudon as a closer is just very strong. Now, like I said, the only thing that would really suck is if you saw a Kyogre in the back. If you see a Kyogre in the back and Mewtwo does not line up against it, you're in a lot of trouble. Groudon well, you're in a lot of trouble, but there's a chance for you to take out Kyogre with an Earthquake. So your exit is Earthquake. If you can Earthquake a Kyogre at a certain range, you beat Kyogre. Well, that's given if you can get there. So here's our second power battle. We're entering into our second battle. We get a Dialga in the lead. This is horrible. Now, we can do this. I can actually take out Dialga with Articuno at the expense of both of my shields. So I'm going to do that exact play right here. I'm going to Icy Wind you down, and I'm going to expend both shields. This may prompt my opponent to switch out because their attack is lowered, or they're going to stay in here and, as you see here, frantically try to kill my Ice Bird as fast as they possibly can. Now, as you see here, I'm going to pop both of my shields. As I said before, I'm going to pop both shields. I'm going to Icy Wind down. This will take out the Dialga in the front, which is really good because that's the strongest mod my opponent likely has. Even though Articuno is still a liability, Articuno still has a lot of play, and there's a lot of things I can do with a Mewtwo and a Groudon, still fresh and available. We take out... I actually let my Articuno go. Oh, it's because I farmed down here. So I'm doing this strat where I will let Groudon... I will let the Dialga take me out, so I can send a Mewtwo, farm down, and have energy. So that's the strat I do here. It's a new strat I employed because Mewtwo with energy is dangerous. As you see, I'm able to get a Side Strike off right away as soon as this whale comes in, and now we pour off a second Side Strike, which is really great. The intense Mewtwo pressure is on. My opponent takes a Side Strike, but he's probably wondering, he's like, oh my god, this really hurts. Yeah, dude, you probably should shield. So my opponent takes heavy damage because Side Strike does so much damage if it's unshielded. As you see here, we're gonna get the third one off, and this should break my opponent's shield, or he might actually let it through. What does he do? He elects to shield it, which is great for me. I want Mewtwo out of the way. I actually save Mewtwo. I switch in Groudon, and my opponent's going to surf me. I'm going to save that Side Strike. This is a very off-the-wall play that I'm doing right here. I'm basically banking that I can actually finish whatever's in the back, like it's a Melmetal or something like that, or it's an opposing Groudon. Okay, so this is actually great. I can shoot off an Earthquake, and my Mewtwo has that Side Strike ready, so I should win CMP, and this is GG's. As you see here, this is literally 1 HP and a freaking dream for a Side Strike. Because my Mewtwo is able to get this final Side Strike off with 1 HP left, I win the battle. GG's. That was an insane match. I have no idea how the hell I pulled that off. That was insanity. Yeah, that was nuts. That was nuts. That was an incredible battle, but that was absolutely nuts. When I was still playing this team, that's a strategy I employed. I totally forgot about it. So what I would do is I would let the second Iron Head go through. I would send a Mewtwo, and then that Dialga should be within farm range, and you should be able to get a single Iron Head. I tried to experiment where I actually don't do another Ice Shard, and I get extra farm in, so I get like probably like enough Psycho Cuts to take out the Dialga without getting an Iron Head in. But that's incredibly risky because Dialga, with especially a best buddy one, if you pick it for your best buddy, has a new break and bulk point, so it's incredibly dangerous. This is a very risky play, a very risky strat. And I don't ever recommend any of you do this unless you feel confident, and either one, you're trying to have fun, or two, you're already rank 10. So as you see here, I get a Glaceon, and at this point, I'm kind of like scratching my head because I thought I was spicy. My opponent's pretty dang spicy too. So we're going to do this. I'm going to go straight Ancient Power. Now, this is probably an Icy Wind. I'm going to just let it go. I don't know how much... I actually don't know how to play this matchup at all. I've done a few sims on ppoke.com against Glaceon, but I've actually never faced one with my new team. As you see here, I'm just going to Boost Fish. I'm going to hope that my opponent doesn't know, like, my opponent, like, I have no idea what to do at this point. I really don't. So Glaceon just Icy Wind gets life away. I shoot 2 Ancient Powers off. It's super effective, and maybe I get the boost, maybe not. But either way, I'm just like totally like lost. So we do manage to get Glaceon down to the red. Now I believe I sent in my Mewtwo here to just farm it down. I'm going to expend both my shields here and farm it down, I believe. That's what I'm going to do. Glaceon's a strong pick for Masters, just not really that much, especially with the double steal. The reason why Artie's okay is because you resist Garchomps. I mean, not Garchomp. You resist, yeah, actually you do. You resist Mudshot. So the flying type for Articuno actually matters. So as you see here, I'll throw in my my Groudon, and this is a lot of trouble because my opponent will throw in their Machamp. Now, my only play here is that my opponent actually doesn't shield this. I'm not going to shield Cross Chop because Groudon can tank one. But I'm basically praying that he does not shield this. If I Earthquake through the shields, I have a chance. Do I get it? Yes, I do. It's perfect. I get the Earthquake through the shields. My opponent now has to take on... Now, your opponent has that Dialga in the back, and this is great. The reason why this is great is because I still have 2 shields. My Groudon still has loaded energy, and we're going to try to break both shields here and take out a whole Dialga. That is bad. We're still in a really bad situation here. So the good thing about this is I still have Mewtwo alive. So if I can break both shields here and go for the Onda Sertera, I win. So because Mewtwo has loaded energy, as you see here, we're going to just fire the Psy Strike. We fire Psy Strike and hope that we bait the shield. We get the shield. Thank you, God. And now we're going to go for the Onda Sertera. Oh my God. We blast through the shields. Literally, our only win condition was to get that Earthquake on that Machamp. And we pulled through. That's GG's. Wow. That was really stressful. If it wasn't for my Mewtwo already having that loaded energy from that Glaceon, I definitely would have lost this match. But I managed to like take back advantage. And as you saw here in the past 3 battles, this is a very hard team to run. It requires a lot of realignment and a whole lot of confidence. Because in certain scenarios, you're going to have to do what I did here, where you're going to have to blast through shields and just pretty much pretend that shields don't exist for one given moment, because you got one moment and one opportunity, and if you manage to go through and fire all of your might at your opponent through the shields, you will say GG's at the end. I saw here. Here's our 4th match. Now, these are just mad sweaty matches. Obviously, I do 5-0, but I actually don't recall like what I did to win these matches. This is absolutely nuts. As you saw here, we get another match, hopefully, pretty soon. Please, 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 and thank you. Please give me a match soon. Please, please, please give me a match soon. Alright, so we finally have one! We get Articuno into the Togekiss. Alright, so we win the lead pretty handily. That's great. We finally win a solid lead. My opponent switches out into the Kyogre, which I want. Remember I was talking about we need to lure out the giant Free Willy? Well, but here's the problem. This one is shiny, and that's really bad because shinies do more damage. Not confirmed nor denied, but as a theory, shinies do more damage, and we have a shiny whole AF Kyogre in front of us right now. It lets the Side Strike go through, which is really surprising because now you know just how much it hurts. So my opponent should theoretically either shield or they're gonna let their Free Willy go. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when Mewtwo comes for you? Now they start shielding. They're like, oh man, yep, this is going to hurt if I let Side Strikes through. Good job, you finally noticed that. This really freaking hurts. My opponent's gonna try to surf me down, surf us, bro. I'm going to send in my Articuno and farm down. This is kind of a really bad idea, but I let go for the Icy Wind because I'm like, okay, this might not be a good idea. Because this should theoretically KO if they don't shield. And it does KO, and they send their Togekiss back in. Now, this is kind of tricky. I have Icy Wind available, which is great. So, I fire my Icy Wind, and this should... My opponent should shield this, I hope. They do shield it. Thank you. Thank you for shielding, because I want both shields gone. Because I have a whole Groudon in the back, and I'm hoping there is a Steel in the back. Or hoping that I can KO whatever's in the back with one shot with Earthquake. So they sent in their Pokemon. That's a whole freaking Gira. Oh, now this is bad. Because Gira does such heavy damage with Shadow Ball and Omnis Wind. I'm in trouble. Shadow Ball hits through. We're managed to get the Earthquake off. Now, I'm kind of sweating right now. I'm sweaty AF because I'm trying to figure out whether or not I can get the whole package of this Gyro out of here. We get the Earthquake through. As you see, does heavy damage. We try to get the Fire Punch. We do get the Fire Punch. Please, please, please kill this thing. No, seriously, please kill it. That or get close to killing it so I can farm you down with my Articuno. As you see, we managed to get it into the 1 HP in a dream scenario. This should kill us, but we have loaded energy on our Articuno, so we're just going to take this out. Icy Wind, GG, son! So that totally worked out, except that was really scary. Like I said, if that had a little more energy, that it probably could have gone 0 in and we probably would have died. As you see here, we get one Icy Wind off and we get one Ice Shard, and that's all it takes to let that Togekiss kiss the floor and say bye Felicia. And that is GG's. So we have one more battle left. I think this is one of the most epic ones, I believe. But as you saw there, we just took out the whole AF Togekiss, and who's smiling now? Who is your god? Who is your god? No, seriously, if Togekiss has a god, I hope they don't. Togekiss is already enough of a problem in Pokemon Window. We don't need, like, a Mega Togekiss. So, hopefully, we get... Oh, I forgot we totally lose the lead. So, we send in Mewtwo here. That's the view. You lose hard against Kyogre. So, you're going to send in Mewtwo. Now, we're just going to straight Side Strike here. This is great because my opponent stays in. We want you to stay in. Because this Togekiss absolutely... not Togekiss. This Kyogre absolutely wrecks our entire team. We want it gone. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to double Side Strike and attempt to break both of your shields. Actually, I need to take out this Togekiss. I take out this Kyogre. We want Switch. My opponent doesn't know what I have in the back. You know I have two things. You know I have Articuno, and you know I have a Mewtwo. You don't know I have a Groudon in the back. And we're hoping you have Steel in the back. They start letting the Side Strike go through, which is great. I want one to land. In any scenario, I want one to land because you want to be able to either one farm down. You need to be able to take out the Whale because the Whale just like wrecks Articuno because it resists. It doesn't resist all of Articuno's moves, but Articuno just it's not a great matchup at all. As you see here, our opponent lets us take out the Kyogre. Yes, we lose both of our shields, but it's much better, and it's a Zekrom. This is great. I send in Groudon, and we get a Groudon, an opposing Groudon. This is awesome. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, this is probably one of the most awesome catches I have ever done in my entire Pokemon Go career thus far. We let the Earthquake through, but watch what I'm going to do. This is absolutely nutty. I count the Earthquakes perfect. Actually, I count the Mudshots perfectly, and I catch the Earthquake on my Articuno. You waste all that energy for little reward. All I'm going to do is farm down. My opponent has 0 energy. Or close to or just a little more energy than that, but then after the Earthquake. But still, we're able to farm you down because they let the Earthquake through, and now we get Zekrom versus Articuno. This is great because Icy Wind's chunk because you're a dragon, and my opponent should be shielding at this point. Because of that, the Dragon Breaths do less damage, and I should be able to get one more Icy Wind. And that is correct. We managed to get the second icy one, and this is great. Catching that earthquake was boss AF, and we managed to make it really cold in here. There must be an Articuno in the atmosphere. If you know what movie that's from, you're cool. But at this point, we pretty much won. Zekrom does not do anything. Crunch will hurt, but at the same time, its signature move Wild Charge, which makes it really good, does not work a lot. And actually, it has Outrage, but yeah, I totally called that wrong. But yeah, yeah, that as you see, that didn't really do a lot of damage. Actually, did about like 30%. But you know what? We had an earthquake. Couldn't wait for the fire punch and then one shot it down. But we get the W. And as you see, we end at 666 at the end. That was a really great battle. As you see here, because of all of the tryhard AF battles we had, we actually snagged a 5-0. Now, like I said, if Artie, like I had analyzed in the analysis, you lose against Kyogre, you lose against Melmetal, you need to save switch in Mewtwo, and you need to try to either one, take it back, you need to take back that switch, or take out the hard counter. Because like I said, this entire team gets destroyed by Kyogres. Even losing the lead against Dialga and Melmetal is really rough because Mewtwo, if you lose Mewtwo, you lose a really strong closer. And at the same time, Mewtwo's your shield breaker. It's very dangerous if Mewtwo's done. But like I said, I gave you the map to success with an Articuno. If you are rank 10 and you want to try this team, you're more than welcome to. As you can see, it can be consistent, but if you lose the lead, it requires you to play like a god if you want to take back the lead and take back the match and find a win condition. Now, obviously, there are many ways you can get a win condition off of losing the lead. However, you need to, yeah, like I said, you need to have a lot of confidence. The key to my teams is confidence. If you have that confidence, you can play them very, very well and secure the W. But that's why Groudon's our closer, because we need to take out the steals. You already know why Artie's the lead. Artie is the spice of this team, and Mewtwo is the ultimate safe switch in my opinion. This is my team. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you guys, I will see you on the summary shortly. Alright, as you saw in the video, those are some really fun games. And then here's just the short summary. I like to do this in all of my videos just to recap everything. Point number one, Articuno can be fun to play, but to win, you need to play really well. This isn't a, oh, I win the lead and I automatically win the game, or like I overly dominate. Articuno isn't factually one of the strongest mons in the entire Master League. It's very difficult to play, and like I said, to win, you need to play well. Make sure you know how to play Mewtwo. I have a video linked in the description. In order to play the experiment from Team Rocket and to play it well as a safe switch, you need to do certain things, or to switch quickly, or to know what to use, how to use Side Strike, Focus Blast, and gain the confidence with Mewtwo. Again, you want a better description of how to use Mewtwo, please look at the video link guide in the description made by yours truly, and hopefully it can help you out. And again, this team isn't cheap. I wouldn't try using it unless you're willing to / have the resources. This is a very expensive team. Groudon with Fire Punch is either you need an Elite TM or you power up the one you got from research. And Articuno is also a very old mon that's not difficult to get. Well, actually it is pretty hard to get. If you didn't play heavily from before, it's very hard to obtain an Articuno, especially one with Hurricane, or a really good one for that matter. My Articuno was obtained from the early days when Articuno first came out. That's how I have a perfect, and that's the one I used in this video. And the extra notes, Articuno doesn't need Hurricane. This is because in the closing scenarios, you won't likely have enough energy and or Hurricane won't end the match. There are very few scenarios where Hurricane will be useful, or you will even get to Hurricane as a closer. It's very likely, like you saw in many of the Shoutcast battles, Articuno isn't a very long, because it's not one of the strongest mons in the game, and it doesn't have it has some bulk, but not an incredible amount of bulk compared to things like Kyogre or Dialga. You won't have enough energy, or you won't have enough damage on the opponent's mon to actually close the match. It's very dangerous. If you like living dangerously, then run Hurricane, but I recommend you don't, because like I said, the only instance where you will ever likely use Hurricane to close out a match is if you have a Kyogre at the end, and even then Hurricane doesn't do a lot of damage because Kyogre is pretty thick. And if you have any questions, please comment and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Please like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, if you have any questions, please comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And you guys have a wonderful day. I hope y'all enjoyed this 5-0 with the Mystic mascot known as Articuno.